Good morning, boys and girls. We are delighted to be with you here today. We are going to open up with a joy song. The words are pretty simple. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Okay. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. That's your part. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Just like the Macarena, we got hand moving. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. If every journey begins with a single step, I'm taking my first step now. If we are to be the change that we want to see, I'm changing myself now. Always a good place to start, the one in the mirror. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. All right, we're gonna get a little funky. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Yeah. Instead of waiting for there to be peace on earth, make peace within you now. Yo, 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 don't wait for peace to come. Be the change you want to see. Gandhi said that, yo. And now a word from our sponsor.
Thank you. That's just what we needed today. Armand Angelina, everyone. It's good to see you back. Good morning, and welcome to Unity Church for Creative Living's hybrid service. It's Sunday, August 22nd, 2021, and it is an honor and a privilege to be here today. My name is Ed Boardman, and as always, I am honored to be part of this service today and to assist in this celebration of light and love. And we are so glad that whether you decided to join us in person or stay at home, we are honored and so excited that you decided to join us today. So let's take a minute and check our cell phones, make sure they're turned off to give ourselves that gift of an hour free electronic service. Thank you. As most of you know, Unity offers a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and on the power of prayer and meditation. And we want you to know that no matter where you are in your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. Let's pray. And as we close our eyes, let us open our hearts, that gateway to joy, to understanding, and to true power. Let us turn within and see and feel the magnificence of life. Let's drop the facade that we think protects us and retell the stories of doubt and lack and shame and guilt, and replacing them with stories of empowerment, love, connection that provides us with the visions that set us free and the courage to act our dreams. Let us free our minds from the shackles of fear that bind us and hold us back. Breathe in and imagine the possibilities. We are capable of moving mountains and creating worlds. Let our dreams mirror our magnificence. Let us affirm our connections to each other, to this earth, and to the divine energy that's coursing through each and every one of us. And remember, it is our interdependence, not our independence, that makes us strong and powerful. Our differences is our strengths. And together we can truly move mountains and change our world. Together, let us courageously and lovingly speak our truth, fearlessly give of ourselves, embrace the unknown, and defeat the demons of our own creation, and create a world of inclusion, of peace, of joy, and rediscovery. And as our energies move, we create a powerful vortex, fueled by love and infused with the divine. We are the creative force that lights the way, conquering the illusions of fear, lack, shame, greed, guilt, and divisiveness. We are the ones. We are the light. We are the love. We are the one with the one. For all of this, we say thank you, God. Amen. I'd like to remind you, after our prayer, that we have a prayer box over in the corner, and we invite you to just slip your prayer request into the box. Know that they are prayed over for a month by our chaplain team, and then sent to Silent Unity for an additional month. Also, I want you to be aware that Bill Werfel, our prayer chaplain, is on duty today and will be available for prayers after service in the lobby. I'd like to take a minute and share with you Unity Church for Creative Living's mission statement. I'll say it once and then ask that you repeat it with me. Centered in God, we provide spiritual sanctuary that enriches and empowers all to realize their divine potential. And together, centered in God, we provide spiritual sanctuary that enriches and empowers all to realize their divine potential. And with the spotlight on our mission, we would like to acknowledge those who are here today for the first time by offering you a welcome gift that's in the lobby. Please pick up one on your way out, and please take a minute, if you would, to fill out the little yellow card that's out in the lobby also, and place it in that basket that's provided. Thank you. Namaste is a Sanskrit word that means the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. And from your seats, I invite you to turn to your neighbor and welcome them with a namaste. Namaste. I'd like to now share with you our daily word for today, Sunday, August 22nd. And the word for today is inspiration. What an appropriate word for the inspiring performers that we have here with us today. And our affirmation is, I move in harmony with the creative flow of inspiration. Would you say that with me? I move in harmony with the creative flow of inspiration. Sometimes I feel inspired by words of others, and sometimes I'm inspired more by action. Today, I take my inspiration from the story of Charles Fillmore, a businessman who marveled at his wife's complete healing from a serious illness. This prompted him to embark on an intense period of prayer, meditation, and study that led to the founding in 1889 of Unity, which has become a global spiritual community. I take this story to heart and find my inspiration in my feelings of awe and wonder and love, or even healthy curiosity. Feeling an awakening of inspiration within me, I center my awareness in God, divinely inspired. I move in harmony with the creative flow that blesses the work of my mind, my heart, and my hands. And from Job 32:8, we hear, "But truly, it is the spirit and immortal, the breath of the Almighty, that makes for understanding." And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. That was absolutely wonderful. I don't want to exaggerate. I tend to exaggerate and say things, this is the best thing ever, and this is the best, most wonderful ever. And one of my friends says, if you want to be more balanced, Armand, you just say, I've never heard or tasted anything better. That's not as exaggerated. So I will tell you, I've never heard any more powerful a prayer is what you did today. That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, good. And that's our fabulous word for the day. So today we're going to be singing and speaking a lot about different things that inspire us and make us feel good. We'll be talking about that. But one of the things that really, really helps us is all these wonderful little slogans and philosophies that we've learned over the years, unity ideas, like everything's in divine order and things like that. But one of the most important ones in our life was actually said by John Lennon, but we didn't hear it from John Lennon. We heard it from the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel movie. And they said in the movie, everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. So we're going to sing that for you now. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. We're gonna sha-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has to have some sha-la-las. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. All right, here's the tricky part. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's gonna change. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience. If it's not okay, it's not the end. All right. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. So our title today is Getting High with God. Sounds kind of a strange topic to talk about getting high in church, but if you think about it, ultimately, that's the main reason we're here. Now you might say, well, no, I'm here to commune with other people. That's getting high. They've even proved it, that we have all these wonderful chemicals in our brains, and they let you know if you're in alignment with spirit. Now, they have a lot of fancy names: oxytocin, serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine. I like to call them all a version of dopamine. In other words, it's all dope. Okay, we're here to get doped up, and we really are.
Happy drugs.
Yep, we call them happy drugs. And if you think about it, when you hang out with people and you create community like we're doing here today, your body gives off some of those happy drugs and you feel better. That is your natural GPS system reminding you to do more of that. Now, I know that there are people out there in Zoom world. We love you out there in the Zoom land and watching this virtually. However, we need community. And you don't get those happy drugs in the same way when you're watching us on the show as when you come here and actually fill the church up.
Right, and that's why we are really, really grateful to be here with you all today, because it has been difficult not to have that connection in person with all of you. So we are grateful to be here.
This is our, yes, thank you. So what's interesting is that I always knew how to get enough happy drugs to feel really good about life based upon my lifestyle. But after March 15th, which was our last gig in 2020, I had about 2 months where I was thrilled to death about just being home and relaxing. But after about 2 months of that, my dopamine level started going down. My happy drug level started to go down. They got lower and lower and lower, and I didn't have the normal connections that I had talking to administrators and talking to ministers and music directors and performing and singing and all this stuff. I'd like to make an apology for anybody that's married to an entertainer or performer that did not get to do their normal stuff for the last 15 months. It must have been miserable. You did a good job.
I was not miserable,
Okay,
Armand.
so, but what I realized is that I needed to do other things more than I was doing before the great pause.
Right, so like I would go grocery shopping and Armand didn't really do that because that's something I did for our household. And so after a while, I told Armand, you need to go to the grocery store with me. You need to, mask and everything, but to connect with people, because he's really fun to go shopping with, because he's so funny and brings joy to so many people. So it's actually for me too. But so it would get him out of the house and be even just in a grocery store, a connection there. So.
And it helped me. It helped build those drugs up, the happy drugs, extra meditation, extra anything that would help me do that. Watching more comedy movies. I didn't need as much of it when I had this external world that was feeding me so well. And so I had to dig in deeper. I'm sure many of you can relate to this. Dig deeper into those unity principles. Dig deeper into those different ideas that made you feel better about life, you know. Angelina, she's always talking to me about the great things that make her feel good. One of them are animals. She just loves her animals.
So we saw this study one time on dogs that, you know, when you pet a dog, that feeling you get of love and affection and all that, that's part of the oxytocin that is in our brain. But the study showed that the dogs get that too. And so, you know, when you're petting a dog, like this, and you stop, they nudge you for more, right? Because they want more of those yummy, happy drugs. So I think that's true with cats, too. This one was just a study with dogs, but I think cats, they do the same thing. And
they just decide when they're going to give you yours.
Exactly. But animals are a great way to get that high feeling. We love animals, and our newest thing is goat yoga. So I don't know if anyone's done it. I see someone shaking their head. They're baby goats. And you go for yoga, and as you're doing the poses and all, they'll jump on you, and you can hold them, and they are the cutest little things. Yeah. So we do a lot of that, and that brings us joy, gets us high.
She's always loved baby goats. Whenever we go to even regular-sized goats, when we go to zoos and petting farms and stuff, it's hard for me to get her away from the little baby goats. And so this became a real part of our life. And I don't know, they probably have some of them around here. We have a few of them in Orlando. And but at the end of the baby goat thing, they go, namaste. So,
the focus really isn't on the yoga. It's really on connecting with these baby goats. But, you know, like most people are just connecting with the baby goats. I kind of do a little of both, probably more of connecting with the baby goats too.
Yeah. So there are tons of wonderful ways to get high. But again, as I was saying earlier, community, they've proven that the people that live the happiest, longest lives in general are the ones that felt a sense of community in their families, in their neighborhoods, in their communities, connecting with other people. That is what feeds us. And Abraham Hicks says, your internal GPS system will let you know if you're not doing enough of the things you should be doing, you won't feel as good. That is to remind you to do different things. When you start to feel really happy hanging out with people and being with goats and things like that, you feel good. That's to inspire you to do more of that. So we really are meant to be high. That's, unfortunately, if we don't get enough of those happy drugs naturally, it will tend to lead us towards other things that can become very addictive, and we have lots of challenges with that. Now, the good news is if you've ever been an addict of any type, you actually were on the right path. Your soul was saying, I'm supposed to feel good. It just, you went the wrong way, let's say, or at least temporarily the wrong way. Because I know many people that have been through addiction work and are higher with God than they ever would have been because of the things they grew and learned through it. So again, there are no mistakes. The last time we were here, we had our service was, there's no such thing as rejection. And it reminds me all the time, that's another one of these great slogans we like to use. There's no such thing as rejection, just God pointing us in another direction. And sometimes that direction is painful, like becoming an addict. But then you come out of it and you do other things, you find new paths, and you become even more whole than you were before. So everything is working for our good.
And perhaps in those down times and all, then you can be a good inspiration for others, a good teacher, and help and teach others about that.
One of the greatest things about suffering and struggle is it builds your empathy. Sometimes people call it, instead of your IQ, your EQ, your emotional quotient. Okay, it builds that empathy so you can understand and empathize and help other people. One of the things that happened for me during COVID is I realized I had a chemical imbalance. Now, I knew I had this chemical imbalance from a small child, and anybody that knows me knew I had this chemical imbalance. And they just loved me with my chemical imbalance. But when I was 9 years old, they brought me in because I was really disruptive, and I was, standing up on my desk and entertaining the class, and they'd send me to the principal's office, and I would poke at them, and I was just always. They called it. They didn't have a name for it back then. They just called it hyperactive disruptive disorder. And now they changed that to ADD, and then they changed to ADHD. And then the new term for it is, you ready for the new term? And I like this one a lot. It's called VAST. VAST stands for Variable Attention Stimulus Trait. It doesn't have the word disorder in it, okay? I have a shirt that says, ADHD is not a disability, it's a different ability. And that's true of all chemical imbalances or whatever. They're all superpowers, but you have to tame them. How many people saw Frozen? If you know Frozen, Elsa had this superpower. She could do anything with ice and cold. She could just create structures. However, if she didn't manage it, she would freeze the wrong stuff. And any of us that have a superpower have to learn to manage it. And so I didn't realize until COVID, I was getting so much stimulation from my job and our lifestyle that I didn't realize my brain was understimulated with dopamine. And that's what causes people to become overly hyper, not having enough stimulation. I know it sounds counterintuitive, okay, but it really is true. And because they're constantly trying to compensate. My mom used to say, Armand, you have two speeds, fast and fast asleep. And part of that is, even though that's fun and funny, part of it is I was so dopamine deficient that I was tired all the time. Just walked around half asleep. I changed, remember that song, that Unity song, I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic? Well, I wrote one for vast people. I'm alive, semi-awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, semi-awake, enthusiastic. Never, only alert when I had something that would make me alert, like some stimulation, some exciting thing, like this wonderful career, like this fabulous woman, like our wonderful home. Those are all wonderful things that gave me that. But when the great pause happened, it got depleted even more. I didn't have these wonderful things. And so guess what? I was guided to YouTubes, and I was guided to books, and I was guided to different medicines and trial and error, a lot of that. I feel like I know more about me, how to stay happy, how to live these principles more powerfully than I ever did, all because of the struggle that I had for about 9 months during the great pause. 9 months of deep struggle. And now, whenever I meet anybody with any kind of a chemical imbalance and they're having struggles, I say, you know, you have a superpower. And when they hear that they have a superpower and that they don't have a disorder, but they have to learn to manage that superpower, especially young people, they get excited about it. They no longer feel that there's something wrong with them. There's just something different about them. You know, there's a lot of different superpowers out of there. Bipolar is one of them. I saw this great bumper sticker. We were up in New England a few years ago, and the bumper sticker said, "I hate being bipolar. It's awesome." Now, that is true about all kinds of things. You could say, I can't stand being married. It's awesome. I can't stand being single. It's awesome. There's a front and a back to everything. So the trick is to manage your life so you focus more on the front. One of the things that make you feel good, okay, one of the things that make you really feel good is not to be paranoid. Okay, so many of us are paranoid that all these horrible things are going to happen all the time, and that will bring you down. In Unity, we like to have reverse paranoia, which is also called pronoia. Has anybody ever heard of pronoia? Pronoia, yes, pronoia is like, oh my God, the entire planet is conspiring on my behalf. You see the difference? You think everything is conspiring on your behalf. And guess what? It is. Even the uncomfortable times. There's no such thing as rejection.
So here's a couple of tools for when we're feeling down. So for me, like being out in nature, if I feel a little sluggish or not feeling joyous, if I just go outside, get some sun on me, just be out in nature, my feet in the dirt, because grounding is really important to get positive ions in you and positive stuff inside us. And so I can always tell when I'm a little, not even like almost not feeling well, I got to go outside. And I go outside, and it might even just be for 5 minutes, and I come in and I feel a lot more happier and healthier. So.
And I will tell you, we have a cat. His name is Mr. Kitty. Just because he was a neighborhood cat that somebody had sort of abandoned, and he became our cat, and we didn't know, just Mr. Kitty. And so he actually can tell when we need to go outside. Because it's like he comes down to the edge of the stairs and he goes, it's weird. He does that. And then we go outside, and he's so happy, and we're so happy, and we get more oxytocin, and we get more happy drugs. It's just absolutely wonderful. So one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was in 1996. I became a YOU sponsor. And YOU is the Youth of Unity. They're like the 14 to 18-year-olds. And I would go to these retreats. They didn't allow any cigarettes or drugs or alcohol at all in the grounds. And yet everybody there was high as a kite. And it was because of the community. It was because spending time enjoying ourselves around each other, talking about unity principles, and really talking about them, how to apply them, actual practical. When I first heard practical Christianity, I thought, that is awesome. That's what I want. I want something practical. I don't want something that I can just repeat. I want something that actually makes sense in my life and can make my life right now work better. And so that's what the YOU retreats were all about. So I wrote this song called I Get High on YOU. And we hope that you will sing with us, because vast people love attention. If you've ever noticed anybody, we like the attention on us, so I found the perfect job. You know, when I used to play in clubs and bars, you know, a lot of people were drinking and they weren't paying attention to me. So once I found sober people, that changed my whole life. So this is actually my 25-year anniversary. I've been coming to this church for 25 years and speaking and singing. And so this is very, very exciting times, because this is the career that I was absolutely born to do. So you could say, well, you found this career because you were vast. And I could say, but Spirit gave me vast so I could find this career. You know, now how many people do not know which came first, the chicken or the egg? I figured it out. One day I was sitting around and I went, squirrel. And that's the thought that came to me. Squirrel, it was a thought. And I get these crazy thoughts. And right in the middle of something, I'll start talking about it, which is not necessarily always appropriate. Like at a funeral. Yeah, I remember somebody said, who died? I went, the guy in the casket. Not good. Not always good to make jokes. There's not always good to make jokes. So anyway, for you folks that do not know which came first, the chicken or the egg, it's actually the egg. And you might say, well, what about the thing that laid it? That was not a chicken. That was a chicken-like animal that laid an egg with a mutant in it, and that mutant was the first chicken. So the egg came first. See what you learn in the Unity Church? Fabulous things like this. Squirrel! It came right there. So let's sing I Get High on YOU, and the reason one of the reasons I love this song is because it's a call and response, which means I will say something and you repeat it back to me. It's like Catholic church. Okay. And also with you. Another thing great about Unity, it's inclusive of all the other religions. I get high on YOU.
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 I don't need a train.
Don't need a train.
I don't need a ship.
Don't need a ship.
I don't need a plane
Don't need a plane
to take this trip.
to take this trip.
I don't need a drug.
Don't need a drug.
I don't need a brew.
Don't need a brew.
'Cause I get high
'Cause I get high
on YOU.
on YOU.
I get high 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 on YOU.
Your little girl
Your little girl
and your little boy
and your little boy
needs to come out
needs to come out
and feel the joy.
and feel the joy.
I see you as
I see you as
young and wild.
young and wild.
'Cause in God's eyes,
In God's eyes,
you're still a child.
you're still a child.
I get high on YOU.
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 Follow me and you'll get high too.
Follow me and you get high too.
Amen. Oh, yeah. Singing makes you feel good. Singing is like praying twice. Singing in groups with group songs and chants and things like that. You know, there's places out there, you probably heard about it. They'll go to these retreats and they'll chant for hours and hours and hours. Okay? I know why they do it. They can tell me all these spiritual reasons, one with the divine. They're doing it to get high. Because when you connect with the divine, that consistently and get out of all the other stuff that's going on in your heads. You know, all of you have some popcorn kernels popping in your heads at all times. Vast people have about 100 of them popping at all times. Squirrel. So here's an example of one. One day I was sitting around and said, well, everybody says I'm a child of God. And Spirit said to me, you know how I know you're a child of God? And how you know? And I go, I don't know. Have you ever read in any spiritual text, you are an adult of God? Got to be a child of God. See what you learn here at a Unity Church?
So much.
None of it will be of any use, but no, I'm just kidding. It's all totally stuff that you can use to live a fully whole life, yes.
So here's another tool. When you're feeling low, gratitude. Like it's really good to go to gratitude. So I find with Armand, always doing it, he likes to do gratitude lists, and we write them down. And what that does is then gets those voices out of your head and brings, joy to you. And the fun thing is, because I write them down, I keep them. And so, it could be years later and go, look at our gratitude list from I dated too. And it's kind of fun to go through that and see where we were then. And so I found that for Armand, you did them because it was important to do them.
I didn't know, but what was happening is My dopamine levels, my inner brain drugs were getting depleted, and I was craving something. And here's a weird thing. The number one non-pharmaceutical drug that is prescribed for people that have low brain stimulants is coffee and caffeine. Now, when I was a kid, I was told coffee bad. So if somebody would have told me, what can you do to make your life as difficult as possible, I did it. Greg Tamblyn says he did it too. We both chose to do somehow the most difficult thing. A little coffee, a little stimulant. When I was 8 or 9, they prescribed me Ritalin. They said, your kid is a maniac. We got to do something for him. And my parents were very afraid of it because something can happen with some pharmaceutical drugs like that that's called emotional blunting, and it means a little zombie-ish. Now, all it has to happen to is one person with, by the way, when you read the drugs things and they say, can cause death, all it takes is one person to die from that drug and they will have to write can cause death. So you have to be discerning. You have to use all the tools available. Many people can heal any of their challenges without ever touching a pharmaceutical. Okay, some people need some help. You know, type 1 diabetics need some insulin. You wouldn't tell them, don't take your insulin, just pray, right? There are people that can even do that and not need that. We have to understand that there is not a one-size-fits-all, okay? There's a big kind of a phobia around, and also a form of bullying that I've noticed is called pharma shaming. These are people that try to make you feel guilty and shameful for using all of God's gifts, okay? So you have to find your balance in what works for you. One of the things that challenges me a little bit with some of the different speakers I've seen at Unity churches and places like that is they'll use the pulpit really to promote their own materialistic things. That bugs me. I do have a book that I wrote right before the great pause. It's called I Now Pronounce You Not Guilty. And I would like to read something from that book. Y'all are very, very good today. Intimate but mighty group. I love it. Y'all are very, I think I have it in here somewhere. Yes, so this chapter is called Faith in the System. Everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything. And that's the only time everything will be okay. Think about that. Everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything. That doesn't mean it's fun. Just because everything is happening in divine order. Who believes that? That doesn't mean everything is fun all the time. This COVID thing was not fun. Still not fun. Now we got this new variant, the Southwest and the United and the Delta. Those things are not fun. But what makes you feel good is to trust. Okay, so anyway, I'm going off. That was written by Michael Singer, by the way, from Gainesville, at the Temple of the Universe. He also wrote The Untethered Soul and a book called The Surrender Experiment. Surrender has been my biggest challenge in life. I can do a lot of things, but that surrender thing, that's scary. That's because I needed it the most. Okay, so
I think we probably a lot of us have that, because I have that too.
The more controlling you are, the more difficult surrender will be. Anyway, faith, F-A-I-T-H, has been said to stand for feeling all right in the heart. F-A-I-T-H, feeling all right in the heart. Okay? It doesn't mean we always understand everything. It doesn't mean we don't get confused. It just means that we trust that everything's happening the way it's supposed to. Being confused is okay. Who's ever beat themselves up for being confused? Being confused is natural and okay. It means you don't know every darn thing in the world, right? Thinking that there is something wrong with us for being confused, that is the problem. As Byron Katie says, how do I know it was meant to happen that way? Because it happened that way. Okay, that's it. That's enough of that shameless plug on the book. Okay, so all these wonderful tools, everything will be okay in the end. There's no such thing as rejection. This too shall pass. Everything's in divine order. Those are not just clever slogans. Those are tools to live by. I had to dig in much deeper into my toolbox in the last year and a half to grab those tools because I needed better, deeper tools to compensate for my lack of feeling high, okay? I don't really want to say I went into a deep depression because I never was hopeless. Okay, I've been hopeless before. I've been in deep depression, and hopeless is terrible. Hopeless is when you really, really believe that there's a dragon down there that is going to eat you. Now, I allowed myself to feel that. I went down there and I saw the dragon, and he was about this big. It wasn't as big as my brain had. So I told myself, I said, I'll never be afraid of that dragon again because I did hopeless. I have the t-shirt. I've been hopeless, and it was a lie. It's never hopeless. It's a lie. But I did go through a version of depression, a lot of grief, and I just didn't know how to get out of it. And so that's why I had to dig into those tools better. Now, one of Angelina's favorite tools is, and by the way, you could probably tell that Angelina and I are polar opposites. She's very calm. Okay. Very introverted. She actually loved a lot of staying home as an introvert. She's,
I did because I found, didn't know it really to the extreme, but we were on the road a lot and never time enough at home for me to feel, to recharge, because introverts recharge by being by themselves. I call our home my sanctuary. Extroverts recharge by being around a lot of people. And so I found that I wasn't getting recharged because I wasn't home enough. And there's always house projects to be done. And so when I'm home, it's like, oh, God, I need to clean out the garage. I need to clean out the closet. Oh, God, we're on the road again. No, I'll do that next time. And then there was just other stuff. And I was full of anxiety that I didn't really even know was there. I knew I didn't feel right, but not to the extreme. So being home for the last year and a half, I found that I have been able to be home, got all my house projects done, so the house feels pretty good now. And I have calmed myself. I'm no longer as anxious. I guess there's always a little anxiety. But what I found was I had a lump in my throat for the last couple of years. And when I went to the doctor, he said, it's nothing wrong with my vocal cords. It's just this global sensations, I think is what it's called. And they don't really know what causes it, but they say that a lot of times it's caused by stress and it'll eventually go away. The whole time since we've been home, the lump in my throat is gone. So for me, the Great Pause has been very helpful for my health and my anxiety, and now I feel I'm ready for us to be able to be on the road again. So,
and our affirmative prayer is, dear God, something in between 2019 and 2020. There's got to be some balance in that, from being on the road 270 days a year to zero, just something,
Right.
It's working out. So all is well. That is Angelina's favorite slogan, to let her feel good about what's going on. So she is going to sing that for you now. And then we will go into our meditation with a little chant that we will teach you so we can all be singing along together. But this is Angelina's All Is Well.
right. And there's a line in this that I dedicate to my friend Miguel, because he would always go say, God is balance, God is balance. And so the line in that, I always think of my dear friend Miguel.
Are you feeling higher today than you were? That's what it's all about. One last thing before we go into meditation is I encourage you to limit your time around people that when you are around them, you feel brought down. This is not blaming them or blaming you. It's just the universe is guiding you that there are things out there that will actually lower your vibration and lower your happy drugs. Doesn't mean you can't ever be with them, but limit it and spend more time with the people that you feel fabulous around. And that way, you will stay high on God. And another way we stay high on God is going into meditation. Guess what happens during meditation? Extra dopamine and serotonin and epinephrine in your brain. It's another way to get high. It also makes you feel more peaceful, which also feels more high. So the words are, peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And as we breathe into that peace, peace is a reminder that we are trusting that all is well. That we are trusting that everything is in divine order. Everything is perfect just the way it is, and so is our desire to improve it. Prayer, affirmation, meditation, all inspire our psyche to be more at peace. Peace, joy, gratitude, all our natural birthrights. Allow the music now to take you on your very own sacred journey into the peace of God. very gently now. Begin to bring your attention to your physical body, this sacred sanctuary where we come to remember the truth of who we are and remind others of that truth and share it with the world. Connecting with this holy now moment, for only right here, right now, can we truly experience the peace of God, knowing that all is well. All is well. All is well. God is balanced. All is well. There's perfection everywhere. All is well. And so it is. Amen.
I was deep into all is well. They never disappoint. Everybody, Armand and Angelina, thank you. Thank you for bringing all that joy and life and possibilities, inspiration. And now it's time to give of our tithes, our gifts, and love offerings. And I invite each of you to take the gift that you have, share it, fill it with love in your heart. I will affirm the offertory blessing first and then invite you to say it with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am richly blessed. Thank you, God. And together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. I am richly blessed. Thank you, God. And thanks to all of you who share of your wealth with UCCL. We are truly blessed. Your giving helps us to continue the work that we do here today. So thank you. As you know, there's many ways that you can give us. You can drop your gift in the collection boxes at the end. You can click the donate button on your Facebook page or on the Unity website. Or for those of you that still have stamps, you can mail a check to Unity Church for Creative Living at 2777 Racetrack Road, St. John's, Florida, 32259. And now I'm going to let Angela and Armand finish off and close our service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. We have some nice consolation gifts for you backstage. Okay. All right, so we're going to go into our peace song and prayer for protection. What do y'all usually do here on a Sunday now before we do that? Right here, okay. So let's sing it. We're going to sing the rock and roll version of the peace song and then the James Brown version of the prayer for protection. Begin with me. the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So imagine now that James Dillett Freeman and the Reverend James Brown got together. Ow! I feel good, 1, 2, 3, 4. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's sing it again. The light of God surrounds us. Woo! The love of God enfolds us. Ha! The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo! Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Good golly, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo! Happy trails, happy trails.